This is Triangles on a Roll by It's So Emma. And if you have a lot of triangles, this could definitely, if you have a lot of triangles, this can definitely be helpful. The way that it works is you put your two fabrics face together, facing each other. You lay your piece on top, you cut it to that size, and then you're going to sew along the dotted line in the direction that the arrows are giving you. And you can actually sew 8 at a time, the way I've done this. And they come on a roll, so it can be as long as you need to or short, but then you're going to come back and you're going to cut it on the solid lines, including down that middle part, and you're going to get 2 half square triangles per block, and it's super slick, especially if you have a lot of them. So let's go make some of these. Alright, so these are all the pieces I made, half square triangles. And I just threw them up on the wall in little sets to see how many of these I can get. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I very well might make more. But that's a lot of little triangles. But we did it fast. Alright, we are looking at this wall because this is my design wall, and I have left this on the wall for a few days while I tend to other things. And my husband keeps rearranging the squares, and I just found these two, and they belong with that little grouping. And I don't know what order this is going to go into, so it doesn't matter, but it's funny because he'll turn them to different directions, mix up the blocks, and he'll even have them upside down and backwards, and it's really funny. So I'm going to start taking pictures of what he does. So here's what he did today. I just made 130 of these half square triangles with what I just did. So I'm going to show you how I squared them up because I love these rulers for this particular project. So you want your point or your line to go from point to point. You don't want to be off, and you need to square it. You can use your mat, and to get 3.5, you can see that that's following in on the half mark, and we're on a line and 1, 2, 3.5. But it's so much easier if you have a ruler, and my favorite ruler is this one for this project. And the way that it works is it has a groove actually beveled out underneath the ruler, and it fits right on there and it doesn't move. So it's called a block lock because it is allowing the seam to go in that groove, and it really is awesome. It holds it in place. So once you get that there, you can move it around. It comes in different sizes, but I used the 3.5-inch block and squared it up and did that with all of them. And you can see it's really hard to not be on the corner when it's just locked in there. So let me show you these others. Now, this is not a promoted or sponsored product. I just wanted to show you what I'm using and why. So this is the 6.5-inch, and then we have a 5.5, 4, 3, 2, and there's even a 1 in there, ladies and gents. All right, now I believe some of these might have come in a kit. Some of them I bought individually. I honestly don't remember, but they're called block lock, and they work great for this project. And I want to show you again a little bit more about this. So here's the back side. Here's my seam when it was pressed, and as you can see, that groove is just falling right in there, and I can't even move it out. I guess you could flip it over on the back side. You just want to make sure you've got the groove going the right direction. I want to see what's going on, and it will lock up on the front. So the trick to this is, see where the words are? Oops, I've got it upside down. I'm not even showing you right. There we go. Sometimes it takes me a minute. So the groove, it starts in the center and then it's opened up going to one side. So you want to make sure it goes in the right way to square it up, or you're going to have the wrong size block. So where it says lock block, that is on the side of the block that does not have the seam pressed to it. And so I press the seam that way, so the words on the ruler are going to be at this part, and then I have a square. If I were to accidentally get it turned around, that's what we get with. See, it's off. And that's not ideal. And then you can also see this is the point of the ruler, and the point's not lining up. It's just altogether wrong. So, and it just fits better this way. It doesn't move as well. Okay, move is easy. So that's what a lock block ruler is. I'll turn it around so it's right side up, I guess. And what I used on this particular project. So now let's go back and play with the triangles and see what we want to do with them. I have more fabric that I can use if I think I need more, because right now I don't have a plan. But I still have all of this fabric left over, And I was using these triangle on a roll, and as you can see, it starts out like this, and once you sew it together and press it, trim it, it gets down to that size. But that's what I used for my pattern. And the square ruler is what I used to square it. And now I have these, and this originally cut up to be a binding on something, so that's why there's a little stack of 2.5-inch strips. And 2.5-inch strips, as you know, are pretty versatile. So I might incorporate this in the quilt. I might even use it as the binding on the quilt, or not at all. But these are the pieces that didn't quite make it into a block. Usually, mostly because they're too narrow. And so these were, here's the only ones that might have worked on here. Yeah, I could make more out of this and match it probably with, I actually have a lot of this fabric still. So here's this. So let's just play with this some more and see what I come up with. I'm thinking this would be too busy to incorporate between the blocks, but it might be really cute as the binding, or sorry, the border. Okay, I just talked myself into that. And this might be my binding. That would be super easy if that's the case. Now, maybe what I'll do, I don't know, I gotta think about this. That's the whole point of of how this works out, is you just don't know what it's gonna turn out. And even though I have patterns and I love patterns, I honestly prefer to wing it and create my own, because I like to be different than everybody, and this way really it's going to be different than everybody because it's my own pattern with my own colors, and I like to use my creativeness on this. Yeah, there's quite a bit I can get out of here if I needed more triangles. And I showed you what's going on in the wall. And maybe what would make sense would be little strips. You know, I'm kind of wanting to make those into flowers. And since there's green here, maybe turn those pinwheels with some green stem to make them look like a flower. Okay, I'm gonna play with that idea. I'm gonna take this over to my fabric and see what I have that might match. So here is our fabric that has some green in it. And then really the main other color is this. It's kind of throughout the whole thing. So I just want to get these two pieces out. And here's some options. Now this is not that same color of green, but to me it's the same color value as these, and it might actually go well. We're gonna see on that one. Here is a lighter green. I wonder if that would be too bright, but it is the right family of green, if that made any sense. So to me these two would go together. These two would not necessarily put together. However, this, I really like this color with the orange. All right, and here's just a solid, which actually I think goes really well. Here's a light green. I like the pattern in it. I think it could be really cute, because what I'm gonna do is make some stems for the flowers, and they're gonna be skinny pieces. I don't know if that's gonna work, but that's what that is. And then I have this one. This is my least favorite out of them, so I think I can rule that one out right now. But I'm left with these four, and they're very different. And I did like this one. These two were really, oh, I just like that color combination. Let's go look at the wall in general and just see what that looks like with all the squares. This is not the layout, but if I were to just do these, I think it'd be cute to offset it and have the green come down between, and it can look like a flower stem. And then I still need something to go between here. Well, that would be cute. I think what I first need to do is sew these together if this is what I want to do. Or abandon this idea and do something completely different with the triangles. I was just kind of laying them out to see what I had. A lot of things you can do with the pattern. See that? That's a pattern. Now that I've seen these like this, and there's so many, I really want to do flowers. So I'm going to just sew these groups together. I'm going to show you how I picked these up, because I picked them all up. But these are going to turn into squares, all going the same direction, because of how I'm going to show you how I picked them up. So they were all arranged like this on the wall. And the easiest thing to do, honestly, is to fold this over to here and this one over to here, keeping the points there, and then just sew down here and then continue on to down here without breaking thread. And then you actually keep it all together, and then when you open these up, there'll be a little string holding it together, and it's pretty obvious where it goes. So I'm going to chain piece that way, but that's how I picked them all up. So I put the top row on top of the bottom row, and then the whole stack is laid that exact way. Top row, bottom row, top row, bottom row. So, and I always will be sewing on the right side. So, here we go. Press it to the dark side, and this will press to the other dark side. And when you do this, your seams are going to nest. But look at that, they're attached. You don't have many places to go. And there we have it. There is our block. Doesn't matter how you turn it, it's going to be the same. So now it's time to press it. But first, I'm going to sew everything in chain pieces, and then blocks, and then press them all at once. Because you can finger press what you need to do to put the block together. what I've decided on. Didn't have my camera out here and I was playing. And I've decided because I want to use white fabric on the outside of that, I wanted to keep any block that had white in it on the inside. And then I'm going to put green between here so it looks like green stems. So no matter which direction, up or down, there's no right up or down. So that'll be fun. Let's see how this goes and if I stick to this plan. This green is what I'm going to use. 37 6.5 inch pieces. Okay, so I've got my 2 rows. Now we shall open this up. Get rid of the selvage edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I can't use this. Ooh, I can. Not the way I meant. I want them to be 2-inch strips. Alright, we're just cutting it the long way. I would recommend making this 6.5 inches. There's no reason to cut more fabric off the bolt because this will work. But I need it to be 6.5 by 2 is the increments or the measurement of the stem that I'm putting on there. I need 37. Let's write some notes. 37 stems at 6.5 by 2. Actually like that because this is going to be thinner. And I don't really need a super big thick stem. So my mistake has worked out to my favor because it has made me reevaluate what I really want. Now I need 37. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 4 is, wow, 36. Oh, I couldn't have planned that any better unless I had used these right. Because I'll bet you there's enough to get a strip out of that. I'm not going to piece it, that's just silly. But I want to have to not to prevent from cutting into this. But first let's play with this and just see what I can do with it. Let's go to the design wall. Remember those 2 little pieces I said I didn't want to cut or use? I decided I'm going to use it. So I put them together. I did a mitered seam so it will look better. And now I'm going to cut it to the size that I need because I don't see any reason to cut into a full strip of fabric to get less than 2 inches. Okay, here's your flower and here's your stem. Here's your flower and here's your stem. And it doesn't matter what direction you're facing, you're going to have a stem for the flower going down because it goes both directions. It also just looks like a cute little design. So I'm calling it something related to stems and flowers. This has been fun. Let's see what else I can do. It's the next day and it still looks like this. It's one of those projects where I'm still figuring it out and laying it up on the wall. And my husband has not been rearranging this. He has been told he cannot rearrange things that are not the same color. And he was a bit bummed, but he agreed to that. Okay, I've sewn together the blocks. And right now it's just on the wall with the white sitting around it. And right now my idea for a border is this thinner piece and then the whiter piece at the bottom in two different colors, but they're part of the blanket or the quilt. my border idea is to use a wider border on the bottom and top just to make it a little more rectangle. I'm gonna see what happens. But here we are with our preliminary rows. So these are sewn together. This is not. And so notice I've got my pins with the numbers on here. And I actually did get things out of order while sewing, so I was so glad I had that. And I know that's a 4, 5, 6, and 7. So what we have are the little stems for the pinwheel flowers. And now I'm going to put the white blocks on the side. Get the border. Here, almost done. done. It's roughly 60 by 70. That's the front. And this is the fabric that I'm going to put on the back. And I'm going to use the green for my binding. And again, like always, when it is finished, I will update the video with the link so you can see what it looks like finished. But this is the front. And I am going to make a pattern for this one as well. So be patient, and then I'll let you know when it comes out if you are interested